How would modern London survive the Great Plague? In the summer of 1665, more than 7,000 people were dying every single week in London. The streets fell silent. Entire houses were marked with a red cross alongside the chilling words, "Lord, have mercy upon us." Now imagine the same outbreak happening today. A city of 9 million people, connected by underground trains, international airports, and one of the world's most advanced healthcare systems. Would modern London survive? Or would the disease spread even faster, just in a different way? The Great Plague most likely arrived in London aboard merchant ships from the Netherlands, where outbreaks had already begun. The first known cases appeared in the poor district of St. Giles-in-the-Fields during the spring of 1665. At the time, London was home to around 460,000 people. The city was overcrowded, dirty, and had almost no proper sanitation. Rats and the fleas that carried the plague found the perfect environment to thrive. The authorities responded with desperate measures. If someone became infected, the entire house was sealed for 40 days. It didn't matter whether the other family members were healthy or sick. Everyone remained locked inside together. A large red cross was painted on the front door with the words, "Lord, have mercy upon us." Every night, carts rolled through the streets collecting the dead. Their drivers shouted, "Bring out your dead." Meanwhile, the wealthy, including King Charles II, fled London for the countryside. One man stayed behind. His name was Samuel Pepys. In his diary, he described empty streets, constant fear, and the terrifying sound of death carts moving through the city at night. By the end of the epidemic, nearly 100,000 people had died, almost a quarter of London's population. The plague began to decline before the Great Fire of London in 1666. Although historians still debate whether the fire helped reduce the risk of future outbreaks by destroying large parts of the overcrowded city. Now imagine the exact same disease appearing in London today. The biggest difference would be speed. In 1665, it took months before people truly understood they were facing a deadly epidemic. Today, scientists could identify the bacteria responsible within just 1 or 2 days. Modern laboratories can sequence DNA in hours instead of months, but diseases also travel much faster today. Back then, the plague spread by ships, horses, and people walking from town to town. Today, an infected traveler could board a flight in London and arrive in Tokyo less than 12 hours later. Yet information spreads even faster. Instead of hearing about the outbreak after your neighbor dies, millions of people would receive emergency alerts on their phones within minutes. Governments could warn citizens almost immediately. Quarantines would also look very different. Instead of sealing entire families inside their homes, modern authorities would isolate infected individuals, trace recent contacts using technology, and screen travelers at airports. But recent history reminds us that quarantine is never simple. Isolation affects mental health. Businesses suffer, entire economies slow down. Medicine would be where today's world has the greatest advantage. Doctors in the 17th century believed the plague was caused by bad air, known as miasma. Treatments included bloodletting, herbs, and burning infected wounds. None of them actually worked. Today, we know the disease is caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis. When diagnosed early, antibiotics are highly effective. The mortality rate of bubonic plague is now dramatically lower than it was in 1665. But modern society also faces a challenge the people of the 17th century never had: social media. News, rumors, conspiracy theories, and panic can spread across the world in minutes, sometimes even faster than the disease itself. Despite all our technology, some things probably wouldn't change very much. The wealthy would likely leave the city first. Just as King Charles II escaped London, people with enough money today could move to second homes or work remotely. Trust would quickly become a problem. In 1665, many blamed foreigners, witches, or mysterious poisons. Today, misinformation would spread online instead. The poorest communities would suffer the most. Many people simply cannot afford to stop working. And hospitals, no matter how advanced they are, still have limited capacity. As we saw during recent global pandemics, even modern healthcare systems can become overwhelmed. So, Would modern London survive the Great Plague better than the city did in 1665? Almost certainly. Modern medicine, antibiotics, laboratories, and rapid communication would save countless lives. But human behavior, fear, distrust, panic, and inequality, those things might look surprisingly familiar. Perhaps the biggest difference between 1665 and today isn't how we respond to disaster. It's how quickly we know it's coming. If you enjoyed this comparison between history and the modern world, let me know in the comments. Which historical disaster should we explore next?